Hey, so I wanted to talk a little bit about electricity in Amish and why they don't have it. Um, and I think the main reason is they don't want to be tied to the world. They don't want to be tapped. They want to be off grid. Um, so that the government doesn't have control over their power. Um, which is not a bad thing. There's more and more people, not Amish people, going off grid, and I think that's great, especially with solar power technology, battery technology being where it's at today. It's getting better and better. So I think that's the main reason they don't have electricity. Another reason would be that when you have a house that's fully wired, it's easy to plug in conveniences, TVs, radios, other conveniences. And they definitely don't want TVs in their house, and they don't want radios. I will stand behind them on the TV thing. Maybe we'll get into another video on that later, but I think those are Satan's greatest tool of deceiving every Christians today. So we'll go into that later. But yeah, so they have no electricity, which means their water pumps are usually run off of gas and gasoline motors, maybe air powered somehow. I'm not sure. I know ours at home was a gasoline engine, a little Honda engine that we would have to fire up every time the pressure got low. It sucked because, well, I mean, it was all right, but like my grandma in her house, she had one that started automatically as soon as the pressure dropped to a certain point. But when I was growing up, we didn't. We had to go physically start an engine by pulling the string. And it was, what?
Mom told me to come tell you something.
What?
I drew a pencil at a picture, and it didn't break. She just told me to come tell you.
Well, you can tell me later.
Are you taking a video?
I'm doing a video. You want to say hi? This is my daughter, Miranda.
Also known as Christian Country Girl.
Oh, you have your own YouTube channel that you don't make videos for?
Yeah.
All right, get out of here. Yeah, it just meant that if you were in the middle of taking a shower and the water pressure dropped, hopefully somebody was home, because you'd be yelling, like, "Hey, start the motor!" So many times I did that, and so many times I'd hear that coming from a shower, and I'd be like, "Oh, I gotta get up from reading a book and go start the water pump motor." There was times when I took a shower and nobody was home, so I'd get out of the shower, soaking wet, and if it's dark as a kid, you got to run down into the basement, and it was dark and a little scary, so I would start as fast as I could. I would just haul upstairs as fast as I could go, soaking wet. A lot of times I'd be sliding, I stubbed my toe, I don't know how many times, just because I'd be sliding around the corners and stuff, or on the steps. But yeah, so they had, we had that system down in the basement with the exhaust pipe to the outside, obviously. And it was loud every time it started. It was annoying, but that's what it was. I think a lot of people are going to different methods, and I'm not sure which ones, but maybe they have them outside. I don't know. And yeah, as far as washing, they don't have normal washing machines. They still use the tub with the wringer and the the tub with the thing that swishes around. They'd send it through a wringer, and then all their clothes would be hung outside, winter, summer, everything. And they would use a generator to run those washers. That's in my community anyway. There's other communities that don't have running water. They don't use generators as much, I think. But we did. And Luckily, I didn't have to wash clothes that much. That was up to my 7 sisters. Yeah, and then the stove was obviously propane. It's funny, is everybody's so worried about propane and fumes, but all Amish houses have propane stoves, and they don't have a range hood vent with fans in them. And the refrigerator is propane, just like your propane refrigerator in a RV, but it's the bigger full-size fridge. The lights in the house were usually run with copper tubing, propane lights with a little mantle. They used to have those lights in old RVs, but they don't anymore. And they would heat up a room. It would kind of suck sometimes, like in the summertime when it was warm outside, and you had company over, so you had a living room full of people, and you had one of these lights burning. It would be hot, but we overcame that. There is one thing about Amish houses without electricity, because there is no hum. Like it's, I didn't think about it that much, but when I go back to visit my parents, and my family definitely notices it, but it's dead silent. Like it's just dead silent. There's no hum of all the electronics humming. And you'll wake up in the morning and you'll hear the clippity clop of horses running down the tarred roads. It's definitely different, unique, but so we had, as far as men, we had power tools that everybody has a generator, and we would run a generator to run power tools. Now with cordless tools where they're at, a lot of people will use cordless tools, and they have solar panels on their barns charging batteries and stuff like that, with inverters and batteries and stuff like that. And some people have their barns wired now as wired with LED lights, which is convenient because you don't have to light a lantern to go outside. Talking about lanterns, that brings back memories as a kid, because Dad would fire up his little, I think it was a white gas lantern, and in the dark in the morning, and we would go out to do chores, and he'd have it hanging next to him, and that would cast a shadow of his legs, like huge leg shadows. It was just kind of a weird, as he's walking, these shadows are moving out, heading out to the barn. Just kind of brings back good memories. But so, yeah, no, they're getting more and more advanced. I don't know, maybe someday they'll have electricity. Probably not. That's a pretty big step. I don't think the world, being tapped into the world, that reason for not having electricity, it makes sense because a lot of them are getting natural gas, which means they are tapped into the world, right? So, but a good thing is, like, if the grid does go down, guess who has no worries? Amish people, right? If the grid goes down, if the government becomes that controlling or something, they're going to be just fine. Now here living in southern Idaho, if our grid goes down, it sucks because we have no water, right? Our pump is electricity. We have no water. We have to have a backup generator sitting here solely for that purpose. And if you wait to get a generator like we do till the power does go out, you make a run for the store and they're all gone because everybody else is doing the same thing. So yeah, so that's kind of the reasons why they didn't have electricity. They're not against actual electricity. It's just the idea of having, once you allow, say, electricity into that community, then everything else just kind of escalates from there. Like all of a sudden, then you'll be allowed to have toasters and coffee makers, and well, they had coffee makers anyway, but air fryers and all this extra, washer and dryer and all these conveniences that they were trying to stay away from. staying away from TV is a big thing. I think that is so powerful. And they did. If they went on vacation to hotel, they'd have to get hotels and stuff. They'd watch TV. It's not like they were like completely against it. They're not completely against cars. They just decide not to have them. So, and we can get into cars later. So if you have any questions about that, just put it in the comments below or email me. My email's in the description below. And make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon so you get notified of the next video that I post. I will try to do as much as I can. My life is super busy. I do some video for the church. I do video for the Bearded Biker Bible Man. And I don't know if I missed anything. I hope not. Anyway, we'll see you. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.